Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. Now, today I want to talk about one of the finest composers of all time, and he's someone whose music is really omnipresent in concert halls, in some of the top-selling classical recordings of all time, in TV commercials, in movies, in television shows, in both serious and comedic works. His music is everywhere, and yet his name, even among other great composers of the late 19th century, doesn't seem to be taken as seriously in the music world as it really ought to be. Now, maybe it's because a lot of people find it difficult to place the Czech classical music tradition. For a country that, when it broke off from Austria after the First World War, it's a small country today, but as part of the Austrian Empire, as it was, well, Austro-Hungarian for much of Antonin Dvorak's life, it still retained very unique cultural and musical characteristics, whether in Bohemia or in Moravia. And Dvorak was someone who used the folkish traditions of both of these components of Czech culture to create really interesting music. You could say that his most nationalistic, most folkish music were his very famous Slavonic dances that were sort of a nod to the Hungarian dances of Johannes Brahms. But it was in many ways his symphonies, particularly his final two, that are absolutely epic works that are in the standard repertoire of almost every major European and even global orchestra. His Eighth Symphony used to be referred to as the Fourth. Let's not go into why, numbers are boring. But his Eighth, aka Fourth Symphony, is actually my favorite work that Dvorak created. It is the perfect romantic symphony. I would say that along with Schumann's Fourth, written much earlier, it's one of the most approachable symphonies of the 19th century for someone who might not be familiar with classical music and might not yet be willing to delve into the absolutely gorgeous but more emotionally involved and turbulent at times symphonies of greats like Beethoven, Brahms, or Bruckner. This Eighth Symphony, though, is has got such wonderful sense of harmony, melody, of development. It's really perfect, even though the one that I also really love, that's probably his, well, the most well-known Dvorak piece, is his Ninth Symphony from the New World, aka the New World Symphony. Now, what makes this unique is that while many European composers in the 19th century borrowed from the folkish traditions of their own cultures, Dvorak went far away to borrow the musical traditions of different cultures, some very different, including the Black American culture. He borrowed from the music called Negro spirituals. He borrowed from Native American music, but he also borrowed from white American folk music, which, while European in its basic origins, by the late 19th century, already developed very distinctly flavors of Americana that Dvorak then reintroduced to both European and international audiences with his Ninth Symphony. I mean, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, one of the most famous Negro spirituals, is quoted in this, and that's been quoted by jazz musicians, modernist composers, and everyone. But throughout it all, there is still a very distinctly Czech flavor to the New World Symphony. It was really a fusion piece, a fusion of his Czech musical heritage and the things that he encountered on his musical excursion in the US. Overall, I would say that he had so many great pieces, and all of them are very, because they are so rich in melody and because the harmonics are so inviting, they're a good intro to classical music for people that might not know anything about it. So check out his Eighth and Ninth Symphony, his Slavonic dances. Also check out his cello concerto, another one of his most widely performed pieces. I do not think you will be disappointed. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.